The most dangerous plants are often those which either look totally harmless or on the other hand very beautiful and delicious. Those are the ones that often contain the most deadly poisons. Throughout history, up until this day, plants have been responsible for countless, most of the time involuntary intoxications, which in severe cases lead to death of human beings and animals alike. Some of the toxins are so potent that people try to weaponize them, and in some cases unfortunately rather successful. So let's get an overview and take a look at 5 very dangerous plants. Water hemlock, sometimes also known as poison parsnip or beaver poison, is a large wildflower with long and thin stems and white little flowers forming umbrella-shaped canopies. They are not only considered invasive but are also highly poisonous. The plant belongs to the carrot family, which also includes popular vegetables like obviously carrots, parsley and fennel. But unlike its nutritious and tasty relatives, water hemlock and especially its roots should not be ingested whatsoever, since they are infused with a potentially deadly psychotoxin affecting the central nervous system. The toxin will cause nausea, strong abdominal pain, vomiting, painful convulsions and in severe cases even violent seizures, kidney failure, respiratory failure or ventricular fibrillation, which obviously all can lead to death. So it's best to not even touch these things. And as a side note, the common hemlock was the plant that supposedly caused the death of Socrates, a famous Greek philosopher. The white baneberry, also known as doll's eyes, which is already bad enough if you ask me, is a species of flowering plant native to North America with branched stems, deeply saw-toothed leaflets and dense globular clusters of small white flowers. The creepy nickname doll's eyes comes from the questionably looking fruit that can be mistaken for ripped out eyes of dolls that were glued to a dark red, violetish looking stem. Conveniently, the fruits are the most toxic part of the plant, while simultaneously having a sweet taste, tricking unknowing humans, especially children, into thinking they are edible. The symptoms after ingestion include burning of mouth and throat, salivation, severe stomach cramps, headaches, diarrhea, dizziness and hallucinations. In severe cases, it can cause cardiac arrest and can ultimately lead to death. Atropa belladonna, also known as deadly nightshade or death cherries, is a native of wooded and waste areas in central and southern Eurasia. The plant has green, almost oval-shaped leaves, small purple flowers and black sweet fruits the size of a cherry. The whole plant, including the shiny fruits, contains the toxins atropine and scopolamine, which will cause headaches, a dry mouth and difficulties with speaking at first, and in the worst cases might lead to a paralysis of involuntary muscles, meaning among other parts of the body, the respiratory system and even the heart might be affected, leading to potential death. Knowing that, it comes to almost no surprise that the deadly nightshade was used as a toxin in World War II and even older battles. Legends say that Macbeth's soldiers used it to poison invading armies and put them to sleep. Although the berries have the lowest concentration of the toxin compared to other parts of the plant, they are the most likely cause of intoxication since they are sweet and might attract especially children. The Gympie Gympie stinging tree is one of 4 stinging tree species in Australia and certainly the worst of them all. Despite looking like the most harmless, fuzzy-leaved shrub, this plant will leave you with an agonizing pain from the most gentle touch. The Gympie Gympie has big, almost heart-shaped leaves with sawtooth edges and white or purple-red fruit. The leaves, as well as the stems and fruit, are covered in stinging hairs filled with a neurotoxin. Shortly after finishing the first version of the script for this video, Coyote Peterson and his team from the YouTube channel Brave Wilderness, you probably have heard of it before, have released a video in which he was stung by the Gympie Gympie plant. He described the pain and sensation as being on fire and electrocuted at the same time. He also mentioned that compared to an insect sting, the Gympie Gympie reaches and exceeds levels of the infamous bullet ant sting, so as you can imagine, it's really bad. On top of that, the symptoms might come and go over a period of several months. If you want to get more insight into the Gympie Gympie plant and also see how a human gets stung by one, I highly recommend checking out the Brave Wilderness video. And last but not least, we have the most poisonous plant on earth, the castor oil plant, also known as the castor bean. The seeds of this rather common plant naturally contain the poison ricin, which can be deadly even in small amounts. 1 or 2 seeds might already be a fatal amount for a child, and up to 8 seeds might possibly be enough to be fatal for a grown human being. Ricin works by inhibiting the synthesis of proteins within cells and can cause severe vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration, and eventually even seizures and death. In 1978, the poison was used to assassinate Bulgarian journalist Georgi Markov with a modified ricin-tipped umbrella after he had spoken out against the Bulgarian government. You might also remember ricin from the rather popular and in my opinion still one of the best TV shows ever, Breaking Bad, where the main character Walter White concocted a deadly vial of ricin, but I'm not going to spoil what happens with that if you have not seen it yet. I would much rather thank you for watching and ask you to leave a like if you enjoyed. Also consider subscribing for more nature and wildlife content. But most importantly, have an absolutely amazing rest of your day.